William stood in the crystalline chamber, his reflection fractured across 1,000 faceted surfaces, each one distorting his image into something alien and unfamiliar. The air hummed with a frequency just below human hearing, making his bones vibrate in sympathy with the ancient structure around him. 3 years aboard the Meridian had led to this moment, standing before the Tharkani matriarch, about to receive what no human had ever been granted. The queen moved toward him with fluid grace, her chitinous exoskeleton catching the bioluminescent light that pulsed through the walls. She was massive, easily 3 meters tall, her 4 arms moving in synchronized patterns that William had learned to read over countless diplomatic sessions. 2 arms were folded against her thorax in what he recognized as formal posture. The other 2 held something that glowed with an inner radiance, his reward. Dr. William Chen. Her voice resonated through the translation matrix embedded in his neural implant, though he could hear the clicking, whistling undertones of her native tongue beneath it. You have given our people the gift of tomorrow. William's heart hammered against his ribs. The genetic template he'd developed had saved the Tharkani from extinction, a retroviral therapy that repaired the damage done by their dying sun's radiation. 6 billion souls pulled back from the precipice of genetic collapse. The mathematics had been elegant, the biochemistry a symphony of precision. It had taken 18 months of sleepless nights, countless failed attempts, and a level of understanding of Tharkani biology that no human xenobiologist had ever achieved. I only did what any scientist would do, Your Majesty, William said, forcing his voice to remain steady despite the magnitude of the moment. The Queen's mandibles clicked in what he'd learned was amusement. Your species' capacity for false modesty continues to fascinate me, William Chen. We do not traffic in such pleasantries. You saved us. The debt is real, and it will be paid. She extended 2 of her arms, offering him the glowing object. As William reached for it, he realized it wasn't a single object but rather a living thing, a symbiote, pulsing with golden light that seemed to breathe in time with his own heartbeat. The Kithara, the Queen explained. Our most sacred genetic gift. It will bond with your nervous system, grant you access to our collective memory banks, extend your lifespan by centuries, and allow you to survive in environments that would kill an unmodified human within seconds. You will become something more than human, yet remain yourself. It is the highest honor we can bestow. William's fingers trembled as they closed around the warm, living crystal. It felt like holding condensed starlight. The symbiote immediately began to pulse in harmony with his own biorhythms, recognizing him, accepting him. Your Majesty, I don't know what to say. Then say nothing, the Queen replied. Her posture shifted subtly, 2 of her sensory antennae tilted toward him in a gesture that William's 3 years of study told him indicated something personal, something beyond the formal ceremony. The other Tharkani dignitaries had withdrawn to the chamber's perimeter, leaving William and the Queen in a bubble of relative privacy. The crystalline walls seemed to dim, responding to some unspoken command. The Queen moved closer, close enough that William could see his reflection in her multifaceted eyes, thousands of tiny Williams staring back at him with wonder and apprehension. There is something you should know, she said, her voice dropping to a register that bypassed the translation matrix entirely, speaking directly through the quantum entanglement of pheromones and electromagnetic fields. William understood her through the Kithara already beginning to interface with his neural pathways. Something I have kept hidden throughout our negotiations, our research sessions, our late-night discussions about amino acid chains and genetic drift. William's breath caught. The Queen's scent changed, a complex biochemical signal that the emerging symbiote translated as something between regret and longing. Maya, the Queen said, and William's blood went cold at the mention of that name. Your mate. The one you speak of in your private logs, the one whose image you keep in your quarters, the reproductive partner you have bonded with according to your species' customs. Yes, William managed, confused about why the Queen would bring up Maya now during this ceremonial moment. Maya was back on Earth, waiting for him. They'd been engaged for 5 years, married for 2 before he'd accepted this mission. She'd supported his decision despite knowing it meant 3 years apart, 3 years of delayed transmission messages and holographic kisses that felt like embracing ghosts. The Queen's antennae drooped slightly. Among my people, when one individual saves another's entire genetic line, when they demonstrate such profound understanding of our biology, our chemistry, our very essence, it creates a bond, a call then, a recognition of genetic compatibility and intellectual resonance. William's newly enhanced perception picked up the subtleties in her stance, the chemical markers in her pheromones. Understanding crashed over him like a wave. You're saying that you and I are profoundly compatible, yes, the Queen confirmed. More compatible than any pairing I have encountered in my 300 years of life. Your mind complements mine. Your genetic code, while alien, carries patterns that my instincts recognize as optimal. The kithara pulsed warmly in William's hand, and through it, he felt the echo of the Queen's emotions. A deep well of respect, admiration, and something that human language would inadequately label as love, though it was more complex, more multifaceted than that simple word could contain. "But I'm bonded to Maya," William said softly. "I know," the Queen replied. "I have always known. It is why I maintained formal distance, why I insisted on protocol even when my biology screamed for me to acknowledge the call then. Your species practices monogamous pair bonding. I would not violate that custom any more than I would expect you to violate ours." She took a step back, her posture shifting into something formal again, though William could now read the pain beneath it. "The kithara will allow you to return to her enhanced, capable of giving her a life beyond what any normal human could provide. You can live together for centuries. You can explore the galaxy as partners. It is a good gift, yes." "Yes," William agreed, though his voice felt hollow. The symbiote was already showing him possibilities, visions of Maya's face unchanged by age, of them standing together on alien worlds, of a future rich with time that humans were never meant to have. The Queen's antennae twitched. "The integration will take 7 days. You will remain in the integration chambers during that time. The process is intense. The kithara will rewrite portions of your DNA, establish neural pathways, create new organs within your existing biological framework." "I understand," William said. He'd studied the procedure exhaustively over the past weeks, knowing it was the likely reward for his work. The Queen gestured toward a doorway that had opened in the crystalline wall. "Then go. Begin your transformation. When you emerge, you will be something unprecedented, a human who carries the essence of the Tharkani within them." William moved toward the doorway, the kithara growing warmer in his hand. He paused at the threshold, looking back at the massive alien Queen who had just offered him immortality while acknowledging an impossible attraction. "Your Majesty," he began, not sure what he wanted to say. The Queen moved with sudden speed, closing the distance between them in 2 fluid strides. She leaned down, bringing her massive head close to his. One delicate manipulator appendage touched his cheek with surprising gentleness. When she spoke, her voice bypassed all translation, all technology. It was a direct biochemical communication, pheromones and quantum-entangled particles that the awakening kithara allowed William to understand with perfect clarity. "I should have claimed you first," she whispered. "Before you met her, before you bonded. In another timeline, another universe, perhaps we met when you were young and unattached. Perhaps there I did not have to be honorable. Perhaps there I did not have to let you go." The words carried weight beyond their meaning. Centuries of loneliness. The burden of being a queen who could never find an equal among her own kind. And now the bitter irony of finding that equal in a being from across the stars who was already promised to another. William felt moisture on his cheeks and realized he was crying, not from sadness exactly, but from the sheer, overwhelming complexity of the moment. The Kithara showed him what could have been alternate paths where he'd met the Tharkani earlier in his life, where Maya didn't exist, where different choices led to different futures. "I'm sorry," he said, inadequate words for an impossible situation. The Queen's mandibles clicked softly. "Do not be. You gave my people life. You gave me the closest thing to Kalden I will ever know, even if unconsummated. It is enough. It has to be enough." She withdrew, her touch leaving a faint bioluminescent trace on his skin that faded quickly. "Go now. Become what you are meant to be. Return to your Maya. Live the centuries I am giving you, and sometimes, perhaps, think of the alien queen who loved you enough to let you go." William entered the integration chamber, the door sealing behind him with a sound like a sigh. The Kithara pulsed once more in his hand before flowing up his arm like liquid light, merging with his flesh, beginning the transformation that would make him something new. As the process began, as his consciousness expanded and his DNA rewrote itself, William's last clear human thought was of two faces, Maya's, waiting for him across the stars with hope and love, and the Queen's, receding into duty and sacrifice, carrying an unfulfilled bond that would last for centuries. In 7 days, he would emerge transformed. In 30 days, he would board the Meridian for the journey home. In 3 months, he would see Maya again, offer her the gift of extended life, and build a future that the Queen's sacrifice had made possible. But in that moment, suspended in the crystalline chamber as alien DNA rewrote his biology, William Chen understood a fundamental truth about the universe: that love exists in infinite forms across infinite species, and that sometimes the greatest love is the one that chooses honor over desire, duty over passion, and the happiness of the beloved over one's own heart. The Kithara whispered to him in the Queen's voice, "Live well, love her fiercely, make the centuries count." And William, becoming something more than human, wept for both the gift he'd received and the price the Queen had paid to give it. The end.